Hello, everyone. My name is Logan Kozlowski, and in order to do this past work reflection, I thought it would be best to do this on this media. That way I could share my screen because I do have a bit of a visual aid, but this is kind of the general idea of the work that I am most proud of. So with that being said, I'm just going to hop right into it. So this project that I'm talking about is a project that I did for a story development class, and it is by far the thing that I am the most interested in, as it is probably something that is most aligned with my interests. So here we go. Out of all of the work that I've done in my 4 years at DePaul, there have been many works that I've been very proud of. Some of my best ideas, in fact, have come from classes that have challenged me to broaden my mind and come up with stories that have never been seen on television or in movies before. Some of my favorite classes have been pitching classes, and since I love coming up with new stories and new concepts to put out into the world. In one of these pitching and development classes, I came up with the idea that I am most proud of. The show that I'm talking about that I'm going to be talking about today, rather, is a brutal drama adventure set in the age of piracy. This show, called Age of Adventure, is my favorite story that I have ever developed for a class. So the logline and the summary of the show are fairly simple. The logline is as follows. Join the crew of the HMS Gwendolyn as they traverse the high seas in search of gold, eternal youth, fame, and fortune. The show predominantly takes place on the ship and features a diverse cast of crewmates, all who have joined the ranks for a variety of reasons. In a bit more detail, Captain Anna Morgan, also known as the Nightmare of the Seas, is on a mission. She wants to be the richest and most feared pirate on all of the seven seas. She wants to be the type of captain who treats her crew like family and wants to revel in the success with them, since her own family gave up on her, aside from her mother. Her ship reaches tolerance with an iron fist, and her journeys are as numerous as the stars in the sky that she charts each night. The show takes place over many seasons, with a sort of Rolodex of crewmates hopping aboard and disembarking each season. Anna has to navigate foreign waters, fierce adversaries, treacherous obstacles, and her own demons, as well as the societal pressures that loom over the whole known world in the time of the 17th century. She's a complex and brutal anti-hero who is not afraid to beat someone to death as they cross her the wrong way. The whole crew knows to stay on her good side, for they do not wish to see themselves end up in a shallow grave. The crew consists of a former captain of hers, a first mate from Martinique who is loyal to a fault, her girlfriend, a Haitian con woman and former sex worker, and a British captive of whom she has an unlikely connection. In the first season, Anna has to go up against her sister, who has risen in the ranks of British society to situate herself as a fixture of nobility. Anna learns that in order to dismantle something as powerful as nobility, she must take a page out of their book. One of the things that I want to do as an executive producer on a show or as the main writer in a movie is write a main character who I can see myself playing. This is why I tend to write leads who are strong-willed, have a lot of worth and dignity, and are powerful, as that is how I see myself, and I will never settle for anything less. Too often in the media, women are portrayed as weak damsels who have little to no agency in the world. They're fighting a plethora of insecurities, and this is something that I do not see in myself, thanks to many external factors, such as self-evaluations, my faith, and my just general outlook on life, being an eternal optimist. I tend to view myself in a very positive and dignified light, and I like to think that I have boundless amounts of confidence in me. I am not interested, therefore, in telling stories of awkward women who are trying to find their place in the world. I have been through that, and now I wish to usher in an age where women can be the, quote, alpha on screen. I want to see women who see themselves as goddesses, leaders, heroes, and the main character of the narrative, instead of feeling relegated to the sidelines. Another thing that I believe separates me as a writer from others is that I have a love for big budget projects. I'm not the type of filmmaker to write a coming-of-age story or a smaller independent film, due to the fact that those films do not interest me as much, and I do not seek out those films. Big budget projects are where most people will see the films or shows that I wish to create, and in order to make change, sometimes one has to go for the avenue that makes the biggest splash. In the case of film and television, that is through high concept works. I also have a voice that is unlike most filmmakers, as I'm more interested in the past or distant fantastical realms rather than the here and now. I've always said, I think the most interesting events and tales happen in the past, and I am of the firm belief that by using the past or a fantasy realm, one can learn from their mistakes so that the present and future are not doomed to repeat the mistakes of old. Through this very short reflection, I hope that you all have learned a bit about me and the project that I am so proud of, and can see a bit of a deep dive into my psyche as a filmmaker. I am a confident woman who wants to see confident female characters on screen, commanding a room with a mere glance. I want these bold and daring women to be seen by all, so high concept and mass produced is the way to go for me. I think these stories are best told when they are in the past or in the realm of fantasy, and I think that more genre and time period specific tales are ones that I find to be the most intriguing. Additionally, I believe that my voice is more conducive to more tales that take place in a more archaic time, as I like using big words and big ideologies in order to convey the messages that I'm trying to portray. With that being said, I don't believe that my current vernacular fits in a current era of time, such as 2022. Hopefully, through this topic, one can clearly see that I'm ready to take on the responsibility of creating the new era of female characters that can compete with the all-time greats. I wish to see a character such as Anna Morgan to join the ranks of Walter White, Tony Soprano, and Don Draper. For, my dear audience, it is about time that woman does. And I will show you just a bit of my project, for I believe that it will help in the future. So I will give you a little bit of time to see this project, and then I will conclude by saying just a few words. So we will start here. So Age of Adventure, we see it here. And then we see kind of the basis of it, some potential showrunners, logline and synopsis you've already heard in my discussion. With the talent, like I say, I cast myself in everything because that is the type of confidence that I wish to go forward with in this industry. I have a variety of characters, so nothing too out of the blue. I am very interested in the casting process, so that is why this is so detailed. And why I have just many different descriptions for these characters. And as I highlighted in my discussion, all these characters are very diverse and vast. Some comps to this show are Black Sails, Viking, Game of Thrones, and The Witcher, which are some of my favorite shows of all time. Some visual styles, as you can see, I'm kind of pulling on Uncharted, Indiana Jones, Black Sails, a little bit of Downton Abbey, a little bit of The Road to El Dorado, and just kind of that more adventurous spirit. And that's about it. So, as you can see, I am very interested in the development process. I'm very interested in the casting process, and I'm very interested in coming up with tales that really showcase what I can do as a filmmaker, as a confident feminine filmmaker who wants to see confident feminine women on screen. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you.